Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, and I'm actually, well, on my way to the studio to do some work on the drum room, but first I have to take my bike to the bike shop because somebody tried to steal the back tire, or the back wheel off my bike while it was locked up, and they couldn't get through the lock, so they didn't get the wheel, but they did get a lot of the parts that hold on the back wheel. So basically I have to get that fixed first. So hopefully there won't be too long of a wait at the bike shop and I can get that taken care of, and then I'll head to the studio. All right, I got the bike fixed. Now I'm here at the studio. Today's project is going to be miking my toms. You might have noticed in my last video I already had this up here, which I hadn't hooked up yet. But I used to have a bunch of these clips, but I don't know what happened to them, so I had to order some more. I'm gonna mic up the toms and then run them to my little Behringer micro mixer here. And I have one channel left over, and that's going from the micro mixer to the fourth channel. This is why earlier, in a few vids ago, I put in a mono overhead rather than a stereo overhead to give myself one more channel for my toms. So I'm gonna hook this all up and let's see how it sounds. So one thing when you're using these drum mounting tom mic clips, it's really a good idea always to tighten this little bolt here after you have the mic positioned where you want it. Otherwise it's gonna slide down and hit the drum. And then also what I like to do is put a piece of gaff tape, like I did on this one, over the mic and the clip itself, also to keep the microphone from sliding, because you really don't want the mics sliding down and touching the drum while you're playing or moving positions or anything like that, or you'll end up with some horrible sounds. So make sure to do that. All right, I think it sounds pretty good listening to it on the headphones. I really won't know for sure until I get home and try to actually do some mixing, but I've done enough in here to where I can tell that it sounds pretty good. So what I'm gonna have to do now is kind of just work on getting some actual stereo imaging, since pretty much everything is recorded in mono right now, but I can deal with that via plugins. So let's get home and start working on it. All right, I did some mixing here, and I am really happy with how this is sounding. Let me just show you guys some of the stuff I did before I play it for you. First off, let's take a look at, well, all right, let's just go through just about everything very quickly here. Starting from, well, at least with the drums. There's a lot of tracks on this song, so let's just talk about the drums. Let's first look at my kick drum. I'm using, I meant to do some more stuff to that, but I'm using the plugin Drumagog here, which is a drum triggering software. I've talked about it before, but I do have a blend, so basically the sound is a cross between the trigger and my actual kick drum sound. And then onto the snare, this is a combination of things that I've actually put together here using the SSL channel strip from Waves, as well as the stock reverb plugin, part of Ableton, which you can see down here on the bottom. So using those two, basically I'm using my own settings here for these, and just stuff that I came up with. A little bit of a high boost, not too much on this one, and some reverb that gives it a little bit. The reason why I'm using the reverb is to give it kind of a width, you know, because everything I record, like I said, everything is recorded in mono. So basically I'm doing some things to give the drums the appearance of stereo, even though they weren't recorded that way. So next up, we have the overhead. And this is where it gets really cool. I'm using this, it's another Waves plugin called XSplit. And what this does is it takes a mono signal and makes it sound stereo. And it actually does a very convincing job at it. And these are just some other, you know, settings that I came up with of just playing with it. There's a lot of different presets you can use, but it's very good. Really works well for this particular application. And then here as well, I also have an EQ and compression using the SSL channel strip as well. And this is a really great plugin suite from Waves, the SSL 4000 series. Really good. And I'm not getting paid by Waves or anything, and I don't even get any commission if you buy stuff through them. I just really have liked a lot of this stuff I've been getting from them recently. Very good. So now the toms. Now, if you look here on the tom track, let me just make this a little bit bigger. Can I? Yeah, so what you're looking at here, this is automation for panning. Panning, rather. Panning. For panning. So what I did is, well, first off, I put an expander using the SSL channel strip as well. And what an expander is, if you don't know, it's basically the opposite of a compressor. And so the reason why I did that, rather than put a gate on there, it's going to take all the bleed and make it quieter, and the actual tom hits and make them louder. I did pretty good at balancing the actual tom levels between all the different toms, so I didn't have to basically compress them to make them even or anything like that. So I was able to use the expander to bring down the bleed. Now, another thing I could do is actually just cut out everything, like edit it out and just have the tom parts in there. And I've done that before in the past, but I really don't think it's necessary on this song. This works just as well. And then to really give it the stereo image, I went in to all the parts where I did tom fills, and then I panned them left to right. So right here, this first tom hit is actually a rack tom, so that one's going to be to the left, and this is a floor tom, so that's going to be to the right. I always pan everything from the drummer's perspective, like I'm playing drums. Some people pan it from the listener's like the audience perspective, but most drummers tend to pan things from the drummer's perspective, and that just means tom 1 is going to be to my left, and then it'll go around this way rather than the opposite way. And this actually worked really, really well. Right here is a fill, this section, and I basically just go across the drums here, and I just panned it, and it sounds very convincing when you hear it in the song. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. Let me put this back the way it was. Got to bounce it down, and I'm going to edit it into the video of me playing and just play it back. This is a song that actually I released before on here. Well, originally I was calling it Corolla, but now, as you can see, it's called Corporate Virtues, and I'm going to be doing vocals on here too, but this version still doesn't have vocals, so this is still a work in progress, but most of the music is actually done, and I think the drums sound really, really good now, so I'm very happy with them. So anyway, here's the song. And here's how the drums sound. All right, that is all for today's video, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something, you found it entertaining and educational. Please let me know what you thought by posting a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe, click like, the bell icon, all that stuff everybody always says. If you want to check out my music, check out anthillrecordings.bandcamp.com. That's my record label, and I have a lot of stuff on there, always releasing new music. And anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you all have a great day. See ya.